Alright, well, I'm in back in my shop, and I'm going to be making some of these fiberglass panels. I got my cloth cut. I just need some for that one piece over here. So I kind of wanted to give you a little outline of what I do, and I'm new to this, so but I figure I might as well do something here and let you all take a look and see how I go about it. I got a lot of my info from Gas Glasser, or Glasser Gas. I think that's the name of his YouTube channel, and then also from fiberglasssite.com. He's got some good demonstrations on doing some fiberglass. But I'm just making up these panels. This was actually a piece of a marker board from a school, and it's got a nice top on it, nice solid flat top. And I'm carnauba wax. It's starting to set up a little better than that. This is that carnauba wax. 100%. There's no petroleum distillates in here. So let's see how this works out. Set this camera up a little bit. Alright, that should give you a good panel. I just go through this process just to make sure this stuff comes off of here. And this is a pretty smooth surface, so shouldn't have any problems. Just lay this on real good. You don't need too much on here because I'm going to wipe it right back off. Just get a good coating over the whole thing. My panel's going to be about this size, so I'm just doing the whole thing. And then again, I'll go over it one more time real quick. It's a little much. But, I do 2 coats of this like this. This could be overkill maybe, but I wouldn't want these panels to get stuck on here and I couldn't get them off. So, like I say, I haven't had a problem yet. I'm going to keep it that way. But it's got plenty on here. I don't need much. Maybe it'll help me out in the future. But you know, feel free to comment on what if you got a lot more experience at it than I do, for sure. I'd like all the information I can get. So this is just basically trying to help anybody else that's out there, and in return, hopefully I'll get even better help from the old guys, or guys that have been doing it a lot longer than I have, for sure. You give me some tips and tricks and the do's and don'ts, you know, for the future if I ever do anything else. So I'll take all the help I can get. It's just PVA. This is from fiberglasssite.com. Probably see that. That's that film release. Basically, it's just liquid plastic. It's like it says, good. Your first couple of coats got to be real light. Just a quick pass. Get a light coat. You want to do. I usually do 2 or 3 light coats. You know, let it dry between each coat. So you see this little mist. That's it. Also, you want things to go a little quicker, I take a little hair dryer just to kind of make sure that's nice and dry. With that sprayer, it atomizes that spray real good, so it dries pretty quickly on the light coat. I mean, I can go between coats pretty quickly with a good result. not, it's all you need. Get one more, another time. The light coat. Nothing real. You know, making quick passes right now. That's it, coat number 2. I'll do one more pass, lightly. A little bit slower, so a little still light. Still light passes. Alright, now for my 4th coat, it'll be a little bit slower pass, so I'm kind of building the film up a little bit more. Now I got 3 light coats on there. Yep. A little bit slower. Not much, I'll do about 2 coats at this pace. A little bit slower, you can almost see the film with the green. It's like a green haze to it. I can see, starting to see a green tint, you know, because of this PVA. It's got that greenish color to it. I'm starting to just see a green haze on the board here, this white board. And that's basically what you're looking for. Now, you know, if you're spraying on something dark, you might not see it as much, but you should see like a shine. You should kind of see like the light hitting on it, a shine starting to appear. And that's knowing you got a good coat on there. Let's try. All right, number 5. A little bit slower. Fifth pass maybe. I try to get at least 7 or 8 coats. That's kind of what I do. Like 3 mist coats, 2 or 3 medium coats, and then a couple, you know, heavier coats than that. And after about 6 or 7 passes, that usually does the trick for me. It might be too much, but you know, hell, I might only need 1 coat. I don't know, but I know most of what I see, they pass over this about at least 5 or 6 times. I'm doing about 6 or 7. But like I say, you don't want to puddle this up. That's one part I learned. Just on watching other people do it, is just don't puddle it up. This will be my last pass right here. Should have enough material. A little bit slower pass. So that's what I got. When I start fiberglassing, I'll show you what I do there and go from there. All right, well, I'm back in here. I'm gonna lay out this panel, kind of give you what I do. I spread this resin out with this roller. It's just a 7-inch roller, foam roller from West System. They're really thin. You can really roll this out pretty good. I got my resin already poured from fiberglasssite.com. Got my bubble busting tools. Of course, that's the catalyst, the mech catalyst, and there's my fiberglass cloth. I got 5 layers. Be starting in this order from here to 1708. This is a cutoff piece because I had to make up 2 of the 29-inch length, so I got some extra. It's a 50-inch roll, so I got the extra that's cut off, so I just use that as a layer. And then this is just 2-ounce chop strand. So I do 5 layers. I got 2-ounce chop strand, a layer 1708, a layer 2-ounce chop strand, 2-ounce chop strand, and then my final layer is at 1708. It's got the woven and the chop strand sewn together to it. So that gives me almost 1/4 of an inch of a panel. It's about 3/16 of resin. It calls for 1%, gives me about 7.5 cc. Mix that in, stir it up. This resin's kind of pinkish in color. You add the catalyst to it and stir it up, and it starts to turn to a brownish color, brownish tint. That's usually, you got it mixed up pretty well. I mean, you want to mix this up good, at least 45 seconds, maybe a minute. Constant stirring, get around the sides, on the bottom, stir it up good. And as you probably can't see it from there, but you'll see the changes color, kind of to a brownish. And that's what you want. Thin layer before I lay the rest of this cloth down. Get this on here pretty quickly. Good layer down. Okay. First layer. Hate that sunlight coming in here, dang it. The sun will kind of help kick this in. Okay. Roll this out. First layer. This roller does a pretty good trick, actually, getting a lot of the air out, believe it or not. But start this up here. Roll this out. The 1708's got that roving on top. You can really flatten it out pretty good with just your hands without making a mess. Now get this other layer on here and next to it. Gotta be careful of that bottom cloth. It's actually a piece. Cut a little short. Sorry, we can piece this together. I'm just trying to use up the extra stuff I got. Flatten it out. Get this on. This will be my second layer. I don't know how many days you can go with the fiberglass sitting before you can laminate on it again, as far as, you know, is there a time limit? But I usually come out the next day and put it, you know, I know you're good for like 1 or 2 days. You might be able to go as many days as you want, as long as it's not waxed. But from what I understand, get this rolled out on here. Now this layer I got to really roll out. This takes a lot of resin. This 1708 mat will suck up some resin. And I got to get the air out of this batch for sure. I'll get most of it out with this roller, and then I'll go back with the laminating tool. You really need to get every bit of air out of this stuff. And this roller will actually roll the air. I mean, it really does a good job. Then I'll go back with my tool and just double check everything to really get a good. But I mean, looking at it, looks damn good. A couple little spots. You know, you can see you can see like little white pockets. Like right there, especially around the edges. But this roller will do a good job. I mean, these are just these real thin foam rollers. They're heavy duty too. And that looks good. There's a guy, Gas or Glass. I've gone and watched a lot of his stuff. He shows a lot of good information. He's been doing it for years. He builds car parts, racing parts, scoops and stuff. And he won't make nothing. He won't use that junk in the store. He gets all his stuff from fiberglasssite.com as well. And he knows what's going on. I mean, I'm new to this stuff, but I'm learning a lot, especially from him. The guy at fiberglasssite.com, his name's Mike. He's got some videos out there as well. He'll tell you everything you need to know. That's that batch. Going to be my 4th batch. This stuff will leave. So while that's soaking in, I'll make up this last one. I'll probably have to get one more after that to really finish this up, maybe. Probably going to need one more. I think I can get all 5 layers at one time on this one. I heard some people say they do 2 or 3 layers and then, you know, finish the rest. But on these short panels, I've done all 5 layers, and it seems to work out fine. They all come out pretty good, actually. And I'm no expert, but looked like it worked out pretty good. If anybody's got any tips and tricks or whatever, maybe I should be doing, but just send it in your comments. I'll get all the information I can. You won't hurt my feelings none. But yeah, I think this is the trick. Still got 2 more layers, but got to get this air out. Hoping I can get it all in. It's pretty good. That roller does a pretty good job, but just a few spots. Especially on these edges. But, that's looking pretty good. Okay, next one. 4th layer. Right there. Yeah, I don't rub my hands all over this. This is a chop strand mat. You know, everybody knows you work with this stuff. You know, it gets on you. But for the most part, it works. Lays out pretty good. And probably will have to mix up a little more just to get this wetted out. Actually, I might have to mix up a little more. Well, really heats this up. Alright, go ahead and get this rolled out. But yeah, see, really compress that out. Got to get that air out. Shouldn't be seeing any white. It should be almost, you know, fiber, like you can see right through it. If you see any whiteness, that's the air bubble sneaking on you. That looks good. Alright, I'm good with that. Make sure I get this cleaned off. Last roll. That's this woven roll, and I'm probably going to have to make up some more just to finish this off. Get this laid out. Right on top of that. Should do it. A lot of resin. Takes a lot. But I'm able to get 5 layers. This is about a 6-foot length piece by about 30 inches wide. 29 inches wide. I'll set that over my railings, trace it out, I'll cut it. And then I mix up an epoxy resin with the adhesive filler, and I'll bond these panels right to that railing. And I'm telling you, once it's done, they don't come apart. It doesn't come off. That's going to be a permanent. It'll be permanent railings. Hopefully I'm going to get this pontoon boat all done. This thing's going to be like a fiberglass boat. Just wash it all down. Instead of all that vinyl seating and vinyl this, clean the vinyl, it's such a pain in the butt. I mean, literally. Keeping the vinyl clean on that damn boat was a big pain in the ass. Pain in my butt, I should say, huh? I guess if I'm putting this on YouTube, I gotta watch what I say in case the little ones, you know, they want to watch it. I almost sense this stuff's getting a little bit ready to go. Just got to keep up the pace. Get this air out of here. And at the same time, make sure this is all saturated with resin, but not overkill. You know, you don't want to get this resin rich. I'll emphasize that more and more. You want just enough resin on here to get it wetted all the way through and get all the air out. You don't want it piled up and flinging all over the place. There's a big air bubble right there. Work that thing out. And you don't want to do this all over, just you know, back and forth, ease that air out. And just kind of go straight up and down. Just kind of looking closely. I've got a wider roller, but somehow this seems to work better for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the other tool got the little bent in the middle or something, but this just seems to just have a smaller line. You can get them in and out. Got to kind of look at the light. That roller does, the roller does a good job. I mean, there's not much in here. There is some air bubbles, I can see them, but very little. And I'm able to just roll them right out with this roller. And it does a pretty good job. And that's that real thin foam roller. I get them from West Systems. They got those 7-inch rollers. But I can't find the 7-inch frames in Home Depot and stuff like that. You got to order their frames too. Somehow I can't find 7-inch frames at your local hardware store. They got the 9-inch and the 3-inch and 4-inch, whatever. A little spot right there. Alright, clean this up. Eye view. There's the panel. You'll see these marks in here, and that's the pencil marks when I marked the fiberglass cloth when I cut it out. That's what you see, those lines. It's just the pencil mark still on the cloth. Don't hurt anything. That's pretty smooth. Air looks good. I mean, it looks this pretty decent job. Looks good. I'll let that set up and see if it lifts off. Okay, well, I'm out here the next day. This is that panel that I finished up yesterday. And we're going to go ahead and take this corner here to see if it's going to be able to lift up on me. There we go. This has been coming up pretty easily, so you can see that PVA, how it releases there. And there it is. It comes up really nice. And that's it. You can see that PVA stuff, how it just makes that panel just come right off of here. It's really a pretty good system. So there's that. Here's this other. I made up this real thin sheet. 'Cause I got to make a mold for the inside corner here. On this is the back of my pontoon. I made a couple for the outside corner, what you see over here. But when I try to put that, I thought maybe I could just make that outside corner and stick it on the inside and kind of conform it in there. But it's just a little bit too much of an angle. All right, well, I'm going to get ready to put this panel I made up on the inside radius of this corner for the pontoon boat. And it's kind of thin. It's just one layer of that 1708 cloth, but it really goes on there and bends pretty good. And I'll be able to get that corner made up. So what I'm going to do is I made up some of that adhesive epoxy, put that adhesive in it, and I'm going to put some dabs here and there on this rail, and then I'm going to clamp that down there, let it set up, and then when I use this to make my two panels for the inside corners, I'll go ahead and just grind that epoxy off of there on the inside. It's so thin I could just grind it off. I'll take and go ahead and wax that up like I do with my other panels. Sprayed about 7-8 coats of PVA on there, and then lay my fiberglass panel in there. Like I say, that's 5 layers, and that should give me that contour that I'm looking for. I take all this apart to get my panels made up, and then I can attach those to the inside. So there you have it. We'll see how it turns out. I think this will do the trick for me. All right, folks, well, I got that panel that I made up the other day. I lay that face down on the table there, then I put my railing from the pontoon boat on top of that, get it lined up, you know, because I made these panels with an excess, because, you know, you end up with this, you can never get a clean edge with the fiberglass, so you make it a little bit, I made it a little bit bigger than the railing itself. And then I can lay this, and then I take my scribe, and I just scribe around it. You know, basically all the way around. And then I'll get the, I've been using a jigsaw with a metal cutting blade. And go around and cut that outline, and then get rid of the excess, flip it over, and then glue that panel to the pontoon, to the railing. So, and I use that epoxy mix with the adhesive added to it, make up like a nice paste, and I put that all along the outside rail and down the centerpiece. Put that panel on top, clamp it all down, and let it set up, and it's permanently bonded to this. Now, you know, it's it. Once this is on here, that panel's going to be for. All right, I'm going to give you this bird's eye view. Hopefully I can get this little picture of it, what I got going on. So that's about the end of the line. That's a 75-inch panel. Looks like it took me on this camera here, I guess maybe about 3 minutes, maybe a little bit shorter time than that, but that's about what I got. So it takes me about 3 minutes to cut 75 inches. So that's it. I'm going to finish the rest of this up and then get this attached to that railing.